Anthony Fauci's lawyers are passing the hat for a legal defense fund. A defense fund. That's not what innocent men do, folks. And the Attorney General Todd Blanche just said the quiet part out loud. We got a referral. Now listen to what Blanche says his department has already charged people with destroying. You see, we've been investigating the circumstances of what that man led at his department for over a year. That's Todd Blanche. Over a year. Now Fauci's lawyers are passing a collection plate. Now I stopped on that because take a look at what Blanche says next. His department is already charging people with destroying documents. You can't investigate what somebody shredded, and that's the whole game. Now stay with me because Congressman Brandon Gill says that the private email accounts were the point, and he wants a judge to look at that auto pen pardon. You see, Fauci's lawyers are raising money for what's coming. Every American should be thinking the same way about their own money right now. Because we got the midterm elections coming up, control of Congress on the line, and markets hate uncertainty. Uncertainty breeds volatility. Between now and November could be the most volatile stretch for stock market and the economy we've seen in years. But here's the good news. Noble Gold Investments has spent over a decade helping everyday Americans protect their wealth with precious metals. Physical gold and silver you can hold to hedge the volatility. It's simple, it's easy, it's safe. Go to nextnewsgold.com or call Noble Gold at 877-646-5347 for America's 250th. Just mention my name and get a 10-ounce silver bar when you open a new qualified account. Now back to Fauci's defense fund. We're talking about private emails, not government accounts, private ones. Brandon Gill says that Fauci's team used them so Americans would never see the risks of COVID remedies that they were pushing. And that's not sloppiness, that's a plan. And Gill isn't stopping at the emails. Watch what he says about that auto pen. Let's get into it now. Dr. Fauci's lawyers, Eric Doherty, writes that they have launched a legal defense fund because they're panicking over major federal and state level investigation. They know he's cooked. Attorney General Todd Blanche on the case. Here's the remarks.
A legal defense fund now. Where does this stand with you and your department? What do you guys plan to do? Because a lot of people are concerned that I was on Fauci really early, like Bobby Kennedy early. But let's talk about what we know so far. I mean, what people have uncovered just in the last month. They want not just for it to be uncovered, but they want someone to have consequences for that.
Totally. And I think what I can say about that is that we've been investigating the circumstances that what that man led at his department for over a year. We've charged a couple of people with allegedly destroying documents, and that's exactly the problem. Is we want to know what happened. We can't know what happened without the documents, and so we're going to continue to investigate. The information that the Senate's uncovered over the past several months is extraordinarily troubling. We got a referral. I can't talk about any ongoing investigations, but
I know
it's a big issue.
Thank you for staying on it.
Yeah, thank you for staying on it, especially for all the people in caskets. But he won't discuss the ongoing investigation. Brandon Gill will. He wants Fauci's pardon thrown out entirely. Leading report reports that Brandon Gill calls to invalidate the pardon. That's great news, right? Not just after the pardon. He says Fauci's team ran COVID business through private email, so Americans never saw the risk. Let's listen.
The most offensive portion of all of this is not just the fact that they lied to the American people, not just the fact that they deliberately withheld information, that they did so illegally, that they used private emails as opposed to official emails so that the American people didn't know what they were seeing, what the risks of some of the COVID remedies, potential remedies were. I think the most offensive part about this is that this entire time, if any American spoke out against COVID lockdowns, against the COVID vaccine, against where, or spoke openly about where COVID actually originated from, they were not only kicked off of social media, not allowed, of course, on left-wing media outlets, but oftentimes were virtually shunned from civil society for saying the things that these government officials oftentimes knew about, but were hiding from the American people. I mean, this is as tyrannical as it possibly gets.
Yeah, and I was, of course, one of the subjects of that tyranny as we were constantly reporting the truth about what was going on during COVID, and one by one, video after video getting deleted. So, yeah, I know exactly what he's talking about. I'm sure you do too. But that's the cover-up. Now Gill goes after the Shield, who actually signed those auto pen pardons, and whether they will hold up in court.
Most Americans, whenever they hear auto pen pardon, kind of take a step back and wonder what in the world is going on in Washington. How is the president signing pardons, or who is signing pardons on the president's behalf? Somebody who didn't get elected, oftentimes without the president's knowledge or without the president's full knowledge. So I think there's absolutely a legitimate case that we ought to test these auto pen pardons, the legality of these, in court. Let the courts decide that, but we ought to put the effort in to actually bring that forward, because the American people are so sick of this stuff. They're so sick of a lack of accountability. And let me tell you, whenever unelected bureaucrats are signing pardons on the president's behalf.
From pardons to the checkbook, now Gill on $40 trillion in debt, and the $1.5 trillion Republicans already cut.
It is astronomical, and it can have absolutely catastrophic consequences if we let it continue and the United States hits a debt spiral or even something close to that. I think that the path for Republicans is to continue doing some of the things that we did last year in the big, beautiful bill, the Working Families Tax Cut, where we instituted the biggest mandatory spending cut ever in American history, ever. It was about $1.5 trillion. That had never been done before. And I think that's just a start. Our goal now is to make sure that we win these midterm elections so that socialists who could care less about the federal debt or deficit don't get in charge, so that we can then come back to Washington and implement, through probably reconciliation, more large spending cuts to ensure that our children and that our grandchildren don't not only inherit a national debt, but don't inherit an economy that is completely in tatters because we've been living beyond our means for.
Yeah. Did you see those numbers? $360,000 per taxpayer. He says the spending runs straight through November. And here's how he frames the choice for voters coming up.
Well, I think the American people have a really clear choice this midterm season. You can either elect the party that ensured that prescription drug prices have come down more than they have in the past 60 years, the party that has secured the border in record time and has deported over 3 million illegal aliens, who have seen the biggest drop in violent crime in about a century, or you can elect the party who wants to have a government takeover of your local hospital to ensure that it runs the same way that your local DMV does, the party that wants to reopen our borders as a matter of policy and give amnesty to every illegal alien in the country, and who has admitted that in order to fund that, they're going to have to raise taxes.
Yeah, I think the choice is clear in November, right? Drug prices in the border are one half. Gill says the other party wants to defund the police and abolish prisons.
Or the party who wants to both defund the police and abolish prisons. I think that the contrast between the vision of the Republican Party and the Democrat Party this midterm season could not be more stark. And I think most Americans don't want extreme socialists running our federal government. They want common sense, sane.
Yeah, we want sane policies. So the question, quote, who is signing pardons on the president's behalf? That's what he asked out loud on, and nobody in Washington will answer him. Anthony Fauci, the man who ran the lockdowns, the mandates, the shot, is walking around protected by a machine signature that Joe Biden may never have laid eyes on. And that's not a pardon. That's a forgery with a federal seal on it. So test those auto pen pardons in court. Gill said it, and he's right. So let's make Congress actually bring it forward instead of talking about it on cable. Blanche has the referral sitting on his desk. Morin's already pleaded guilty. The documents exist, or somebody burned them. And either answer convicts these people. Remember what they did to you. Grandmothers died alone. Nurses lost careers. And if you asked one honest question like we did about where this thing came from, they shunned you out of civil society while they knew better the whole time. And drop a comment with the name of somebody you know who paid for their lies. Share this with a patriot who was called a conspiracy theorist and was right. And subscribes to the next filing, doesn't get buried. This one is not going in a drawer, and not while we're watching. See, Blanche said he can't talk about ongoing investigations, but our team works inside the building where those decisions get made. Text White House to 844-840-4963. And the reporting we pull from straight inside the White House hits your phone every night, unfiltered, no algorithm standing between you and it. To some of you, you read that and immediately want to do something with it. Well, that's good. Just text SIGNAL to that same number and enlist in the next news Signal Corps, real missions, real ranks, a command center where every operator works off the same board. Fauci's lawyers are organized, and so are we. Get in tonight.